Alright, welcome back to the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time walkthrough. Here we are inside the Great Deku Tree. And here is the second type of Deku Baba that I was talking about, previous one. This one can lunge out at you, so you can cut it quickly, as Navi says, you get a Deku stick. Now actually there are two enemy drops from this thing. You can get a Deku stick, which is what I just got, and then if you also killed a certain way, the backflip was not necessary. If you kill it while it's trying to lunge out at you, you get its head, also known as a Deku nut. Now the way that these work is that you can press the C button they're assigned to, and Link will throw them on the ground, and it can create a flash and paralyze certain enemies. Very, very useful, but yet is not very used commonly. I'll use it once to show it off here, so you can just do that. So if you're not all that good at sword fighting, no worries, you can just do that. Over here there are some weeds or grass, whatever it is. You can cut them for extra rupees or hearts should you need to. And you can also see that there is a web in the middle of the floor. Navi can tell you more about it. But of course, as soon as you get up to this wall full of vines, she'll tell you that you can climb it. Now there actually is one other wall of vines before you come to the Great Deku Tree. There was a certain area in Kokiri Forest. I just didn't go to it, nor did I talk about it last time. Anyways, now go ahead and slowly ascend, and I want to show you something pretty cool over here. So these are new enemies. These are Skulltulas. That's not the cool thing I want to show you. They're on the wall, so clearly you can't hit them with your sword. Ah, but you can. Just one of them at least. So what you want to do is you want to try and backflip onto the chest. I almost did incorrectly. If you don't remember how to backflip, you hold down the Z button, walk backwards, and press A. Just like that. And then from here you can do a jump attack. While targeting these things, you press A. You can jump attack and kill just one of them. You can't kill all three of them, and it wasn't absolutely necessary. I just wanted to show that off. Once you're done messing around with that, go ahead and open up the chest to get the first dungeon map. Very useful, and as the name suggests, it will allow you to have a full access to, a map, a layout of this area. So all you have to do is press start to open up your 4 subscreens, and then scroll over by using Z or R to go to the map subscreen, and then it'll show off the map for the Great Deku Tree. Anyways, you come along here, and then of course there's a door, and Navi will interrupt you by pointing out the obvious. You press the A button to open a door. And then this is where she actually introduces the action icon. I talked about that in the previous video. If you didn't see it, check it out if you aren't aware of the action icon. Anyways, in here, be very careful. There's a Deku scrub, and then you're going to want to shield immediately. I also wanted to point this out, that whenever you target an enemy, Navi can give you information about that enemy. So you press C up, and then she will tell you information about the enemy as well as its name. Pretty interesting thing, although it's not really necessary, but it can kind of help you to figuring out how to defeat it, which is pretty useful. Now this guy isn't actually evil. He was just sort of, I don't know, keeping watch, keeping guard, I guess, of the treasure that lies within. So you kill him, you don't kill him, you hit him, you listen to him for a little bit, he runs away, and he leaves behind a heart. It was pretty nice. In here there's a platform, however be warned, it falls and it breaks, so yeah, I guess we're kind of stuck here for now, as it seems. Go ahead and climb up these vines, and would you look at that, there's a treasure chest right here. Open that right up, and then you will get the very, very valuable and very useful dungeon item, the Fairy Slingshot. This thing will be used pretty much throughout the entire game, and very useful item. This is our projectile weapon. It's very nice that it's introduced pretty early. In a lot of other games, sometimes it waits, but this was the first 3D title in the series. I guess they wanted to hype it up, so they put it in the game relatively early. Now, go ahead and equip it to a C button, whichever you prefer, and then you can use it. It aims in first person, and then you just press the C button to shoot. As well, you can also Z target with it. Up here on this ledge, you can climb the vines and get a recovery heart. Now, once you come down here, you may have noticed there is a ladder right up there on the wall, and it's kind of stuck. What you want to do is you can either Z target it if you're bad at aiming, or you can just shoot it with your slingshot. Well, you have to shoot it with your slingshot, but you can either Z target or just aim yourself. Now that we have the slingshot, of course, a new drop will appear in grass and in weeds. So you cut it, and then you can get Deku seeds. Of course, they are used as ammo for your slingshot. And as of right now, you can only carry up to 30 of these things. That's a pretty good amount, but If you're not that good at aiming, I suggest that maybe you can use them up pretty quickly. So it is very important to practice using them before you actually put them to real fighting. Alright, now come out here, and this is actually how you're supposed to fight these things. You can Z-target them, or, this is first-person mode, you can just aim them yourself. I'm using a Project 64. This is the emulator I use to record this walkthrough, and using a controller with it, it's kind of difficult to aim because it's super sensitive. I can only imagine what some other places of this game is going to be like. Anyways, with Skulltulas defeated, go ahead and climb up the vines all the way to the 3rd floor, and then you can gain access to the next room. Which I kind of want to talk about the fact that there are just these rooms that spawn off from the center. My theory is that maybe these are just humongous branches that are completely non-existent if you go outside. Anyway, in here, there's more than meets the eye, actually. So right here, this is a floor switch. You want to step down on it, and then it will raise these platforms, and then you will hear a ticking. That ticking, of course, indicates the timer, and once it gets faster, that means your time is almost up. Fortunately, though, you'll have plenty of time to get onto here, so don't worry too much about it. In this chest right here is the compass. Now, you may have been confused whenever you saw the map, but you didn't see your icons. Well, now you do, as well as you see where you came from and all treasure chests in the room, so that's pretty helpful. Unfortunately, the map doesn't show certain obstacles like ledges or, I don't know, platforms. It just shows the room shape. Not all that helpful, but I guess it's better than nothing. Anyway, up here is a new enemy. This is just a Skulltula. Now, it'll lounge out and attack you. I was trying to show it off. That's its attack. It's pretty short range, thankfully, so you can use a Deku nut to fight it, and then you can use your sword. Or if you're fast enough, you can just kill it in one hit using a jump attack. But then again, if you're new to this game, I suggest you probably use Deku nuts, just so that, you don't have to always be hurrying. Anyway, enough of that. What you can do now is come back to the switch and then raise these platforms and make your way onto the platform all the way out. That sort of creates a ledge in the room here, and there's a treasure chest with a heart, or a recovery heart in it. And then behind it, I want to introduce something very important. This is a huge part of a huge collection in this game. These are Gold Skulltulas. Now, it's not immediately obvious as to what they are for at first, nor what they do, but if you stick around, I will tell you all about them. You can see how many you've collected on the quest status subscreen, and there are 100 of these things in the entire game. Now, I know that may seem very jaw-dropping, but I will show you how to get all of them. So, you may have noticed over here there's 2 torches. One of them is lit, and the other one is not. Well, if you didn't realize that was a torch at first, it's a torch. So, we need to light it somehow. Well, that's where Deku sticks come in. You use them to carry fire from one source of fire, of course, to another. And that is what the Deku sticks are primarily used for. With that room done, now come outside, and here we are again on the 3rd floor. Our mission now is to jump from the 3rd floor and to make it down to the basement. So you're probably wondering how do we do this? Well, of course, there are these, well, these are a lot bigger. These are big Skulltulas, and that's probably the most efficient way to defeat them, as I just did there. What you want to do is fight one of them, or 2, I guess, if you really want to. Only one of them is necessary, but I was just showing off again another good way to fight them. Again, you can quickly stab them, or just jump attack them, do whatever you want. That one was a little early, so I'm surprised that even worked. So you want to jump down, and you can possibly fail this. If you do, and you don't make it quite enough to the middle, you just kind of bounce. But then again, if you jump properly, and then you land dead smack in the center, here we are again in the 1st basement. I know Link screams like a little girl, but who cares? Anyway, very much a different place from the rest of the tree. So, of course, right there on the vines, that will take you back to the 1st floor. There is a Golden Skulltula token that you can get. So go ahead and use your slingshot to defeat it, and then you can climb on the vines to collect the token. Very good. Now, go ahead and swim over to the nearby platform where you can stick out. And thankfully here, there's a place where you can stand. Here's another Golden Skulltula token. You can use your slingshot, or you can jump attack it. There are a few ways to fight it here. Then go ahead and climb on this platform, and then you can make a jump for it, and you can see Link frozen in the air while the water still moves beneath us. pretty funny. Anyway, now in the basement there are a couple things for us to do here. So you look around, you can see something that looks like a torch. It's sort of hidden in the cobwebs here, and then you step on this switch, and then the torch lights. And it's not a time switch, so it'll stay active forever. It was also guarding a treasure chest that contains a recovery heart. So if you needed that, maybe you missed your spot, you took damage during the fall, you can use that to recover. Oh boy, so go ahead and light the stick on fire and take it all the way over here, and then you can burn these cobwebs away. I almost missed and jumped in the water. If you land in the water, of course, that will extinguish the flame, and then Link will put the Deku stick away, and you'll just have to do it again. There's a Deku Baba right there. You can kill it if you need more Deku sticks or Deku nuts. It's very nice. In here, there is another Deku scrub, so be ready to put your shield up. And attacking it wasn't necessary. I used to think that it was when I was a kid, but it isn't. You just have to approach it and then, you know, make sure you're targeted to it. So he is going to tell you something very, very important. So get your listening ears on. So remember that he's telling you the order is 2, 3, 1. 23 is number 1. This isn't going to seem obvious or make much sense at first, but I promise you it is very important. So remember it. Alright, with all that aside, you may notice that the door is still barred shut. So you're probably wondering, well, how do we get out of here? How do we progress? Well, if you look above the door, you may see there's this very weird looking diamond plate, and it has an eyeball in it. May or may not seem obvious, but what you want to do is use your slingshot to shoot the eyeball. I know. Inflict pain upon someone, and that allows you to progress. Very helpful in real life. Anyway, as soon as you get in here, it is a room full of water, a spinning rod with spikes on it, and a platform that moves about. So Navi's going to tell you some hints about what you need to do. I'll just quickly summarize for you. Get into the water, swim here, hold down the A button over this switch to dive, and then once you press it, let go. Or once you press down the switch, let go. So you have to hold down the A button, and then you can only dive up to 3 meters, which is not too deep. Once you're done, you can hurry up and then jump on this platform here, and very slowly it will take you over here. You can hear the timer ticking. Now that I'm over here, there is another Skulltula to fight, so you can stun it with Deku Nuts or just use it with your sword. I always manage to get hit by it, but not today. Over here you can cut grass or weeds for some rupees and whatnot. And over here we're introduced to our first block puzzle. So you come over here and then Navi will interrupt you and tell you about a block. So you move the control stick towards the block and you press the A button to climb on it, but you stand in front of it and then press the A button to push it. You just gotta read what the action icon says. So some of you probably noticed the symbol on the block, and it seems very suspicious, but I assure you it is nothing harmful. Now, it was changed in later versions because, well, it looks an awful lot like the symbol for Islam, except the symbol of Islam is backwards and it has a star instead of a diamond with points coming out of it. So there's what it looks like in later versions of the game. If you are playing on 1.0 or a 1.1 version of the game, then you will see the crescent moon and diamond pointed star thing. Alright, with religion aside, let's go ahead and progress over to the next room. So I'm going to go ahead and be ready to fight these Deku Babas, and you can of course get Deku sticks from them. And you will notice the withered ones are in here too, which means you have an unlimited supply of Deku sticks because they keep growing back. And that's because Deku sticks are required to solve the puzzle. You just have to light the torches with the stick. Very simple room. I guess they kind of weren't sure what to do here, so they just made it a simple puzzle. Now in here is a much more interesting room. Of course, not really if you know what you're doing. So you can actually use your slingshot to fight the big Skulltula there that's hanging up. And then if you look on the ceiling, those are Ghoma larva eggs. So you'll notice too that there is this very noticeable polygon. So if you walk around in the center of the room, it'll cause them to fall. I was sort of trying to do that to show them off, but it wasn't exactly working. So if you want to avoid fighting them, you can just not walk in that polygon in the center, or you can use your slingshot to shoot them. Now, the hitbox for Ghoma eggs are really weird. You have to hit where they're connected to the ceiling, because right there it looks like I was dead on, and right there it looks like I was dead on, but I wasn't. You have to hit where they're connected to the ceiling, or else it will not count. Now that they're gone, you can walk out and do whatever you want in the center of the room. See there, I was just backflipping for fun. Alright, go ahead and light this Deku stick up here, and then use it to burn down the cobwebs here. So you'll find seemingly a dead end. More on that later, though. Not in this video, but we'll find that out in the next video. Okay, go ahead and kill the Deku Baba there if it gets in your way. And what you want to do is use your Deku stick to bring fire all the way over to the side of the room. So, go ahead and burn that down, and then you want to crawl through the hole to make it again to the very first room we experienced down here. So, here we are, back to the somewhat main room down here. Anyways, go ahead and push this block down now, and it will land and fall off into the water. Excellent. Now that's created a shortcut for us here. So, you may have seen the torches here and you saw the cobwebs. Well, if we can't fall on this one, then we have to burn it somehow. And you notice these torches are a little too high for us to reach. Actually, there is a trick to where you can stand on the block and just jump and light the stick without having to push it down. But that's kind of hard to pull off, and I'm not that good at it, so I thought I'll just do it like normal, you know? So now that I have that shortcut, you can go ahead and use the stick and bring it over to this cobweb here. So you have two options. You can either roll or you can do a jump attack. Most people say you're supposed to do a jump attack, but I always roll. I just did a jump attack showing it. A roll is a lot more easier to perform, so that's why I normally did it. Now down here you can find hearts in this water if you've taken any damage previously. And you have 3 of them, so you can recover to full health. Now down here you'll see 3 Deku Scrubs, and if you remember the information from that one Deku Scrub back then who says 23 is number 1, this is where it comes into place. So you want to hit the second one first, then you want to hit the third one second, and then lastly you want to hit the first one last. Well, I got hit. If you get hit, it doesn't really matter. If you hit them out of order, then it'll just make a wrong little buzz sound, and then you'll have to start over. Okay, so once you've hit the first one, he's going to be shocked and wonder how you knew their oh so mysterious secret. So anyway, it doesn't matter. He's going to tell you the secret to the boss we're about to fight, Queen Ghoma. So I remember whenever I was a kid, I was absolutely terrified going into this boss door, but of course soon after that I found out that this boss wasn't really all that scary and she wasn't even all that difficult. So come on into the center room and let's greet up with the boss. Yes, you are trapped in here, and we hear this mysterious noise coming from up above. So go into first person mode, and there she is. Alright, first boss. Now, she has a few attacks. She can kind of paralyze herself there. What you want to do, whenever her eyeball is red, you want to shoot it with your slingshot and then just slash away at it with your sword. Now, you can actually take out this boss really quickly, probably within less than 30 seconds if you're really, really fast. I didn't quite do that this time because I wanted to show off her attacks and her moves. So, she comes onto the ceiling here, and then she will lay Ghoma eggs. Now you can slash them and cut them before they hatch into Ghoma larvae, or you can, once they do hatch, then you can just fight them in 2 hits. Anyways, whenever she comes back down, her eye will flash as red, and then you can hit it with your sword again. And actually, I wanted to show off one more attack before she is finished off. Now, you may have noticed that her eye was red while she was on the ceiling, and if you are wondering, yes, you can shoot it, and that's what I was trying to show off here. So go ahead and shoot it, and there she is.